This is a brand new account which I have. So before we create Kubernetes cluster on EC2 instance, let's create a VPC subnets and also let's create a VPC for that. Let's try to name it. Let's VPC only. Let's try to name it kind VPC or some other name, hosting VPC or something you can give. Let's give CIDR range as 10, 0, 0, 0, 16. You have to give 16 range for VPC and tendency will be default. Let's create a VPC. Once VPC is created, let's create internet gateway and try to attach internet gateway to it. Kind IGW. Let's try to attach VPC to VPC. Let's try to attach kind VPC. Okay. Once it is created, let's create route table. What's the range we have taken? This range, right? Okay. So let's try to attach route table for that for our VPC and no route table. Let's try to create route table for our VPC and then try to attach route table also. Let's try to create a public subnet. Kind VPC. Try to create public subnet. Kind public subnet. One. Then let's try to give 10 0 0 0 1/24. Let's create subnet and let's create one more subnet, private subnet in same VPC. Kind private subnet 1, and let's try to give some other range 10 0 0 2/22 24. Sorry. Let's give 3. Possibly I have to delete the subnet also, public subnet also. Kind public subnet. I have to delete that because I've given a different wrong range to that. Create a subnet. Let's choose the VPC. Public subnet. Kind public subnet 1. So 10 0 1 0/24. Create another subnet. This will be private subnet. Though we will not be using private subnet, but I am creating it to show you how it is created. Private subnet 1 10 0 2 2.0/24. So this will create private subnet. So I have two subnets, kind subnets. We have already created this IG gateway, right? IG gateway and try to attach it to VPC. Let's try to create route table for our this thing and then try to kind public rt vpc. Let's select kind vpc. Let's try to edit the routes and then try to add internet gateway. So we have attached internet gateway to our public subnet. Let's create one more route. Let's try to associate the public subnets here. So let's try to associate that. This is done. Find public RT. The associated public subnets also, private subnet also. So now this is done, I guess. Yeah, once subnets are associated, let's try to get into public subnet of kind and then try to attach we have to get it to subnet settings and then try to enable auto IP or enable auto IP assign for IPv4. Like it will automatically assign IPv4 for this instance. For whatever instance is created in public IP public subnet, it will create or it will create automatically assign public IPv4 before I4 address. Or else it will not happen. Once this is done, I guess our structure is completed. We need to create security groups also. Let's create security groups also. Kind security group attached to kind VPC. Allow all because we are doing experimentation. Allow all. Try to attach. Try to add rules. Inbound rules. All traffic. Custom IPv4. Outbound. Anyway, it is all everything is going outside. So we don't need anything. That's it. So we need to allow everything from whatever is coming from any traffic. It should allow every traffic to our instance. So I wanted this to happen. So I've added this rule. Once this rule is added, let's create security group. Once security group is created, let's create. Let me check. Let's create the key pair also. Like key pair I have already have, so don't need to create it. So I have created VPC subnet and internet gateway. I've attached it to VPC and route table I have created and associated with subnets. Whatever subnets which are there, we will be using it. And elastic IP, I don't have anything, I guess. And security group I've created one, right? So this security group it will use and then try to create an instance. Like we'll be using this security group for our instance. So whatever instance is created, we'll be using this security group. We'll be creating only one instance as of now, like one Kubernetes cluster in one instance. So we don't need many security groups because I'm not enabling any and I'm not disabling any ports as such. I'm enabling everything whatever is coming from the internet. I want it to happen. Want it to come to this node. So I'm not exempting any of the traffic to my instance. I'm allowing all traffic to my instance. So because this is a testing environment which I'm testing, but in production I would recommend you to not to allow everything. Like whatever is required, whatever on what port, like that port you have to allow. So that's all, our environment is created. Let's now create one instance and try to install a kind cluster on that. Okay, now let's create instance, Ubuntu instance, and let's try to create the same, use the same VPCs which have created right now. Kind server Ubuntu, let's select OS as Ubuntu, and then let's keep this image itself like 20, keep this version itself. I don't want to change the version because it is freely available, right? And I need to change the type now, make it to T2 medium, and then this is the key which I was talking about. This is a key which I have already have with me. I don't need any key, any other key. If you want to create any key by yourself, you want to create any new key, you can create a new key and it will create a new key, and you can probably use that key in place of, apart from this key. And we need to edit the network settings. Then we need to go to our VPC which we created just now, kind VPC, and then public subnet. We have to select public subnet because we are creating instance in public subnet. And then we have to create a we have to get the security group, or else if we can create new security group also, if you want to disable some of the ports, you can create new security group and you can directly address from here. And then you have to change the disk size from 8 GB to 30 GB, because I think some of the resources it would require, because we'll be creating kind cluster on top of Ubuntu this server, right? So some of the resources, maybe it might require some of the resources, because it will not be 100, it will be 100% if you don't give 30 GB, or you can give 20 GB at least, let's suppose. Then launch the instance. So what have we done? We have named our server as kind server, and we are using Ubuntu, and this is the version which I want. So this is the version which I have taken. I have not changed the version. And then T2 medium, I have changed from T2 micro to T2 medium here, and then I am using this key. And in the VPC which I created just now, I'm creating instance in that, and existing instance group I'm taking like kind security group, and then I'm increasing the memory from 8 GB, and I'm increasing the disk from 8 GB to 30 GB, and I'm launching the instance. Let's see. Now let's launch the instance and see if it is getting created or not. It got created. It might have given public IP also. Okay, so we have enabled that, right? Public IP, automatic public IP availability. Like that's why it is giving public IP. Or if we disable that, we will not get public IP here. Let's try to connect to the server. Like for connecting the server, I'm using from mobile extreme as of now. Like you can probably download mobile extreme using this link which I'll be sharing in the course itself. Like you can go to mobile extreme download, and you can go to free version. Then you can go to mobile extreme home installer edition, home edition, installer edition. You can download it. Once it is downloaded, .exe file, you have to open it. So once this is done, you can probably connect to the, when you open this mobile stream, it will open this. So you have to grab a public IP of this our server, and then you have to connect to the user, as the user is Ubuntu by default. So I'm using that, and then key you have to fetch it from here. Use a private key, and then we have to select the private key which is here, and then it should connect. Some prompts it will give, and then it will, oh, it is connected. So once it is connected to the server, let's do package update. Once it is done, let's check if Docker is there or not. Docker. I don't have Docker, so to install Docker, there's a command here, right? So apt install docker.io. And let's grab that command and try to install Docker. Once Docker is installed, let's try to check if kubectl is there or not. You have to install kubectl. For that I have written a blog also. You can probably follow the blog and you can try to install all these packages which are there in this blog for creating kind cluster. Once the packages are updated, it is installing kind now. Let's installing kind via snap. So let's try to see if it is getting installed. No, it is installing kubectl, not kind. Sorry. Yeah, it is installing kubectl now. Let's see if it is getting installed. Once kubectl is installed, let's try to grab kind also now. You can get kind installation using this documentation, which is by kind official documentation. So you have to open this page from here, like quick start. You have to get into quick start, and then from that you have to grab this commands from here, and you have to just copy it, and then you have to paste it in your terminal. Once that is done, you can go to create. You can go and create a manifest file for our cluster. This is the manifest file for our cluster. Let's try to create it. Let's open this, and then let's try to create manifest file for our cluster. So in this manifest file, if you see, so this kind cluster, kind should be cluster because we are creating cluster. So this is the manifest file of kind cluster manifestation manifest file. So I'm creating this thing, and if I explain you this, like these ports, why are we opening this port? Like these ports are opening at the container, like we're creating nodes on containers, right? So these ports are, we are opening these ports on container, like as a host port. These ports I'll be using it for accessing Kubernetes, accessing Prometheus dashboards and Alertmanager and Grafana dashboard. So when I do kubectl expose via node port, these ports will be opened on Kubernetes level, but not at the container level, right? This container will not allow me to access dashboards on 30,005 port. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to open these ports on container at container level, because these nodes are getting created at container level, right? So this 30,000, 30,001, 30,002, 30,003, 30,004, 30,005. This 30,000 I'll be exposing Grafana on that, and 30,001 I'll be exposing Prometheus on that, and 30,002 I'll be exposing uh, Alertmanager on that. So for that purpose, I'm exposing these ports at the creation of the cluster itself, because once cluster is created, I don't know like how to expose these ports. Maybe that is possible, but I'm not explored on that part. But by creation of the cluster itself, I'm exposing these ports, so that my application will be, the hosted application will be open on these ports. So this I'll be creating Helm chart, and using in Helm chart in the values.yaml, I'll be giving these values in that YAML values.yaml file, so that application will be available on these ports. So once this is done, let's create the cluster now by using this command kubectl kind create cluster. Let's try to wait and see if it's getting created or not. It's preparing nodes now. Once nodes are prepared, it will try to install control plane and then try to install CNI and create class, storage class also. Is joining worker nodes now. So I have two worker nodes, one master in this server, this cluster. This cluster is getting created on a node of Ubuntu, right? So kubectl get nodes. It will not be ready now for now, but it will be ready in some time, in some seconds. It is ready, right? So now let me check. Yeah, it is ready. So I have one master, two worker nodes in this cluster. So this is sufficient for configuring custom alerts for our cluster. So you can replicate this thing in any of the cluster which you have. Whatever big cluster you have, you can replicate this thing in your own cluster or in your production environment if you want to. If you want to configure custom alerts for a production cluster like not ready nodes, or let's suppose by default it doesn't give some of the alerts like pending pods, it will not give for pending pods. So like we can configure pending pods alert for our cluster and try to get the alerts. Those are custom alerts. Doesn't give container creating alert, pod container creating alert. So we can configure pod container creating alert, and then you can get that those kind of custom alerts, and you can configure those, and you can get email out of it. So those kind of things we can achieve it. So now if you see one cluster is created, I have one cluster with me. Do I have Helm? Let me check if I have Helm. I don't have Helm, so let me install Helm also. Classic, you have to give classic. We need Helm because we'll be installing Prometheus stack via Helm. So Prometheus stack will be installing via Helm, and then after that we'll be configuring certain things in in, in Prometheus stack itself. So I need Helm because of that. So I'll be passing some values.yaml file for our Kubernetes for our Helm Prometheus chart. So I'll be configuring values also like node port. I told you, right, this 30,001, 30,002. This kind of node ports I want to give it via Helm to this Helm chart. So it takes up the values from Helm chart, from values.yaml, and try to apply it to the Prometheus chart, which is available, which I'm installing. So I've created this cluster manually, right? So I don't need to create it via manually. I can create a Terraform file for it, because uh, I think, one click Terraform apply, it should go and create a cluster for me. It should create a node and then try to install the necessary packages and try to create the cluster for me. So how can we achieve that? We can achieve that by using user data and attaching it to a server, right? So I can create a Terraform file for that. I'll be deleting this instance for now, because I'll be creating it via Terraform file now. I'm deleting it because I'll be creating it via Terraform now. So I'll be writing Terraform file for this application, for this node, and then try to write user data for this node and try to install everything via one command, kubectl Terraform apply, and then auto approve. One command if I run, it should go and create everything, and I should get when I enter the node, I should get these things. Let's achieve that. Let's try to create Terraform file for our node and try to achieve all these things via automation. Let's incorporate automation to it rather than doing manually. Let's try to add automation to our creation. Thank you.